let's see what our real fam wants us to talk about. This is
Topic Takeover!
I love this!
Woo! Our real fam, Poor Vavagela, posed the question, what was the biggest financial lesson you learned, and when was the first time you made a financial mistake? Ladies, what's a financial lesson you ended up learning the hard way?
Not having an emergency fund.
Oh.
You know, yeah, I didn't have an emergency fund. And so when I had this is when I owned my condo, and my condo went down. I didn't have any money. And so I learned early on, I don't care what it is, I try to save 10% of every check I get. I don't care if it's $50. I'm gonna save 10% of that 50, put it away. I pay all the other taxes, everything like that, and then that goes to my emergency fund because I never know. And you know, I always tell people, especially single women, if you don't have anybody, you have to save some money. Just put it away so that you forget that it's even there. And then if an emergency happens, you can come, especially with women of color, because the banks ain't loaning us a whole bunch of
No.
So,
I agree. For me, it would be when I first started making money as a model in New York, they would give you your whole check.
Yeah.
And I would be like, ooh, I'm helping my mother, I'm helping my cousin, I'm helping, and didn't put money aside for taxes. So when taxes came at the end of the year, it was a huge chunk that I've never, I was like, oh, I spent it all. What do I do now? And so I think learning financial responsibility young is important. We need to pass it down to kids, even if it's not your kids. Talk to your cousin's kids, talk to your girlfriend's kids, because it's important to know what to do financially. And I was really in a bad way.
I was in that same shock. I wrote down the exact same thing in my notes. Absolutely, taxes. At the same way you can have an emergency fund where you put 10% away, you also need a tax account where you're putting 20 or 30% if you live in LA. Of every single money you get. You don't get to keep all of that. No, the government is gonna take 20 or 30% of it. So you need to put it away so that when tax season comes, you have those funds ready and available and prepared, and you're not shocked and having a conniption like I was.
And also for college students, be wary of those credit cards. The minute you get in college, they start sending you credit cards. And I got into that credit trap. And so what happens is, because they know you in school, and then you start losing it because you may not be able to pay it off and everything. Try to minimize your credit cards. Try not to, maybe have one for an emergency, maybe to help you with your books, but don't just because I know it seems tempting, but that was one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was in college.
Yeah, one of the biggest other mistakes that I made was not having a credit card at all. So while Lonnie is saying don't stack up a bunch of credit cards and not be able to pay them off, but it is smart to have at least one. I think growing up in a family, first generation here, immigrants, your parents are like, don't get credit cards, pay everything in cash, because you never want to owe anything to anybody. You don't want to be in debt. But the problem is, that's how you teach people that you are trustworthy on paper, so that then they know, oh, she pays her credit card on time every month. So when she's asking for a loan, so when she's asking for a mortgage, we have proof. Her credit report is the proof that she is trustworthy enough to have a credit card that she always pays off on time.
I agree, and don't let anybody take out credit in your name.
Never.
Because then
I know y'all be wanting to
pay for it. That's
don't do it. And real quick, not having an emergency fund, also some other mistakes, paying off the wrong debt first, missing an employer matching contributions. You can make a lot of money that way, and not having credit monitoring or an alert service set up. Because with all the theft IDs, you need to, it would pay to have a credit monitoring, because people are getting people's names.
Get all the apps on your phone. It should alert you every time that credit card is used.
Yeah, really great advice, you guys.
We tried.
Where were you when I was 17?